once again, a huge shout out to our massive supporters over at patreon.com/878 Survivor FM, Dick Donovan, the legend Kenny Baker, who's also a supporter on YouTube, Big Dog, and our $25 supporter, Jake Snow. Thank you very much for your support, and we hope you enjoy the podcast. Ciao for now. One. And welcome to episode 68 of the DayZ podcast. We had a gap last week. Apparently there was a big football game or soccer game or something like that, and someone's bringing it home, and there was a big dive and a big controversy, and yeah, it doesn't really mean much to me. What about you, Marks? How you doing, mate?
I'm doing good.
You following the footy, mate?
No, not at all.
No.
Couldn't tell you who's in it, what's it all about. I have no idea.
What about you, lad? How you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, just been busy as hell.
Are you following the football?
Vaguely.
Yep.
Yes. Don't really care too much for football, but you know, if we beat Italy tomorrow, holy shit!
Never really honest.
I just realised. Hang about. Give me a second. I've got a issue with Mark's face is partially cropped out in the. Let me just minimise that a bit. Move that up. There we go.
Crop out the star of the show.
That looks a bit better now. I was sitting there looking at it. You were like that meme with the the little head peering over the wall down the bottom of the page there, mate. But yeah. So, not a lot happening the last couple of weeks in the DayZ community. We did have a guest lined up, folks, but we backed out at the last minute because I didn't realise he was only 15. And as keen as I was, because I was sitting there going, how fucking cool is that, man? There are teenagers playing this game who basically, the game's half their age. And I was really, really keen to hear from Farlong. But Twitch and YouTube especially can be very funny about having kids involved in stuff. And I checked with you guys in the EU, UK area, and DayZ is rated 18 plus over there. So very, very sorry, Farlong, but we just made the decision that it probably wasn't worth dicing with the algorithm and the YouTube powers and the Twitch ban hammers and that, and getting you on to talk about a game that is technically rated 18. Interesting as it would have been to hear a teenager's perspective on the game. I think that would have been absolutely fucking awesome to hear. Someone who... Sorry?
I think I started playing DayZ around that same age.
Yep.
As well. We all were watching Frank. It would have been Frankie back in the day. And,
yep.
And who else? I think the Syndicate Project was playing it at that stage, and they're good days.
They were. I often refer to that time around when DayZ Standalone first started as well, as buggy as the game was when it was first released. But you look back to the mod days as well, because I started watching, didn't really get to play the mod, but started watching all the mod videos and that was almost the golden age of DayZ. So many people came up, and you had Mr. Blackout and Jam Jar and Mr. Moon and all the rest of them, and Psy Syndicate and all that, doing the Survivor games, and it was just such a fucking golden age of DayZ, lad.
It was. It really, really was. I remember way back in 2012, 2013, just about to get into college, and used to watch DayZ, Frankie on PC all the time. I think anyone who plays the game used to watch him. But I didn't actually start playing until about 2016.
Yep.
So I was only about 19, 10, and 20, something about that. Mm-hmm. So, all those really awesome moments in the early alpha and mod, I never experienced it. So
yeah.
I didn't experience the mod. I experienced the alpha, and when it's always funny when console players complain about the game nowadays, and it's you have no idea how lucky you are to be playing that version of the game compared to what we had back in the alpha days.
Oh yeah. Now, because we're going with new format now and the VODs will be staying up on YouTube and that, we are going to incorporate a shout out to all of our lovely Patreons. We've got Ashley Prime, Kenny Baker, Dick Donovan, Jake Snow, and also Red Freedom, Eric Johnson. Thank you all so much. And our one YouTube member as well, which is Kenny Baker as well, I believe. So thank you all so much for your continued support of the show. We've mixed up the format now. Back in the day, Foxy and Brim in particular kept on telling me that I should start a separate channel for the podcast on Twitch, and I was always like, no, it'll be too much of a fuck around. And well, it was a fuck around. I spent the last week off trying to get everything working and that, but we are now doing that. I need feedback from all you guys watching what the quality is like, but at the moment it appears to be going okay. I know there was a little bit of an issue with the starting screen glitching out a bit. But it appears to be okay. But we are now streaming on 3 platforms. We are on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook all at the same time, which is g'day. Yeah, lad, you're getting your face out there, mate.
Hello there.
Dance to Jesus saying the quality is good on YouTube. So, yeah, we'll wait until we hear back from someone about the Twitch feedback. But it's really clever the way that Streamlabs OBS do it. Yes, you've got to pay for Prime, but I don't mind that. I don't mind paying for a service that I use, free stuff. They're usually milking all your information and selling you to marketing lists and all the rest of it. If you pay for it, well, there's the expectation that they won't be doing that. Dumpgrass says you're very pretty, mate, so I think you and him should get in the DMs later. You can send him a link to your OnlyFans there, lad.
He already has it. What are you on about?
And the audio is nice. Oh my God, that is such a fucking relief to hear. Audio has been the bane of my existence on this show. It is just, yeah, so glad that things are finally starting to pop up a bit. G'day, Fluffy. G'day, Kafina. How you doing? So, yeah. Okay. So we're going to start off with Mark. You had a bit of drama in the last week, mate.
Yeah.
With your hacker.
Yeah. Oh, where do you even start? Well, I'll go like this. I'll briefly explain what happened. So, majority of my viewers on YouTube are console players, and a lot of them are obviously vanilla players.
Yep.
And so I was like, I always usually only play the vanilla servers when a new update comes out. I play the experimental for a day or two, then I play the stable branch for a day or two just to see how everything goes. And I decided I was bored, didn't know whatever to do, and I thought of a video idea. And I was like, well, I can do this video idea on the official servers. It'll make it even more of a challenge. And the video idea was basically I wanted to get geared up as good as possible. And when I finished getting geared up and hopefully didn't die, I would make my way down south and I would try and give my gear to some fresh spawns down the coast. Since the servers was wiping, it didn't really matter anyway. And I was like, it might make a fresh spawns day. It's kind of a feel-good video. Let's do it. So I was now certain it was 4 days recording this video. And I had so much footage. I had so much everything. And at the end of it, I die 3 times in the space of 2 days to one hacker. And the first time we were raiding his base, I explained it all in the video more often, but I'll just quickly skim over here now. He held me up on day 1, and thankfully he didn't kill me, question me what I was doing. He was like, I'm the king of Pavlovo and all this stuff, and I was like, all right, I already don't like this guy because he just said that. So I'm going to raid his base. And he accidentally said where his base was. It was just right next to Pavlovo, northeast of it, in a little farm area. And he had this place filled. One shed was completely filled with vehicles, working. The next one was filled with tents, the really long wooden brown barns, filled with tents. And I was like, I'm going to raid him. So I get the following day, I get some of my people from a Discord in, and we go raid him. We managed to raid the first shed with all the vehicles in it, get a vehicle out, and then we were able to use the other vehicle on the player to boost into the larger shed where all the tents were. So we were in there. We were doing pretty well at this stage, and then all of a sudden, within a split second, I have this footage, but I don't have it on this PC. I have it on my other one.
Mhm.
In a split second, all three of us die instantly. Out of nowhere. There was no one around, nothing like that. We all just die instantly. We drop. And we're like, it was weird. And we weren't 100%. We thought it was a hacker, but we weren't 100% sure. We thought it might have been the car. Because stable servers, vanilla servers and vehicles, not a good mix. As I would find
No,
out the
of
following
course.
day, as I died in a car as, anyway, long story. So this happened and it was really annoying. So we're like, whatever, kind of wrote it off a bit because I didn't really know what was going on. Then after dying to him, I run back to that spot as a fresh spawn to see was there anyone around. And there's like a little laneway that goes down to the farming area, and there's a little woodland in between it, between Pavlovo and this farm area, very small. And I'm running through there, and the next minute somebody says, "I see you," and it was like right on top of me. And I look around the entire, like, do circles around me. There was no one in the area, and no one in the area at all. And then the split second, he's right behind me. I was like, okay, that's just weird. And
Yeah.
he was like, F5, are you going to die? F5, are you going to die? And I knew the second he spoke, it was the same guy that held me up the day beforehand. So I was like, okay, this is sus.
So this is the actual encounter here that we're looking at on the screen now?
This is the encounter here, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that sounded familiar to me, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is the one where I was like, okay, he's definitely hacking. This is the last event before I made this video and stuff. So he killed me. I tried to run off and he shot me as a fresh spawn. And I was like, okay, it's just stupid. So I leave it there. The following day, I go live, stream on YouTube, and I'm like, right, I'm going to stream this and see what's going on. And thankfully, I had some viewers who played on vanilla PC as well and were able to, and had like gear on. They're fully geared and they had grenades. And in vanilla, you need grenades to be able to raid bases.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, if you have any grenades, meet me in Pavlovo. We'll all go and raid the space together. We raid the base, wipe it out completely. We destroy all the tents, all the walls, everything. Get rid of it all. Because you knew that this is the hacker's base or suspected hacker's base at the time. And loot it up. Everything's going great. I'm like, this video's going to be one of the best I've ever done so far. And I'm like, okay, so we then make our way down south. We go into Cherno, we find a fresh spawn, we give him an AK, he says thank you. I'm like, no problem. Keep going along our way. And this is Chernogorsk military, just as you're kind of coming into Cherno. And we're walking up here. If you skip into the video, you'll see the full encounter.
How
you should
far
see
in?
it down a bit. Just keep scrolling and I'll tell you. There. Back about 5 minutes. There, right there. So you'll see here now. Yeah, go to 5 minutes, and just so I can show you, I'll leave it play up a bit, right? So, running up here, everything is perfectly fine. And I'm like, okay. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. I was like, we're actually going to, this video is going to work. We're going to find a load of fresh spawns, and everything's going to work well. And as you'll see now in a second, right? Walking up here, and I come out this gate,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see something will happen. I get shot. You'll see it now. You'll see.
Yes.
There. I get shot. And we're like, what the hell? Where in the name of God did we just get shot from? There was no one around us. It was a single shot. There was no one around us. That shot was so quiet. It sounded like it could have been 500-600 meters away. So there's a couple of high-rise buildings around, like industrial ones around. I searched all of them. I had a Pioneer with an ACOG. Searched all of them. No one anywhere near it whatsoever. I'm like, okay, this is weird. And so I had two other players with me at the time that were from my stream. The guy standing next to me and the guy that was a little further back. Well, the guy that's further back that's not on screen at the moment was being shot at, and he ended up dying just before those gates. Out of nowhere. We had no idea where he was being shot from. And then all of a sudden, the teammate in the ghillie there goes, I see the guy. Or here, I think he said he hears him. And he was right behind these, like, sandbags, or supposedly that's where the voice was.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, F5, are you going to die? Put your hands up, you're going to die. Last chance, put your hands up, you're going to die. And shoots my teammate. And then I run over. I'm like, "Are you hacking?" I ask him, "Are you hacking? You're hacking, aren't you?" And he wouldn't respond back.
Yeah,
So I
of
run
course,
over to see if I can try and kill him, and there's no one there, and I get gunned down. So, and I'm still live at this point as well. The whole stream sees it, and that it just really, really annoyed me. That really annoyed me, especially when you're spending that long grinding and grinding and grinding to get all this stuff, to do all this stuff, and then for it to be gone in an instant because a hacker who's really bad at the game decides to cheat for whatever reason. Doesn't make sense. So, yeah, it was really annoying, and I went onto Twitter about it. I took a screenshot of the server information. I was like, "Don't go on this server. There's hackers on it, all this stuff." And then I was still really annoyed about it. Like a day later, and I said, "Screw it, I'm going to make a video on this because I really want to talk about it."
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I did not expect the video to get the amount of views or feedback or anything that it was meant to get. I genuinely didn't. I thought it'd be a video. I chat about it. I didn't think it would do well at all, and it just exploded way more than I thought it was. I posted it on Facebook. It exploded on the Facebook DayZ community page. Reddit as well went mad, and I was just like, okay, it's going crazy. And so I upload that at midnight. I wake up the following morning to a message from Scotty, because I had told Scotty, messaged Scotty like a day or two beforehand, but it was on a weekend, so he was off and he didn't see the message until that day. And then I got a message from DayZ, the official DayZ Twitter account, saying that the producer of the game wanted to have a chat, and I was like, yeah, no worries. And so we had a talk, and I won't discuss what we said in the DM because there's some private stuff there, but he said
obviously
that since the pandemic, hacking has become a bit more crazy because people have nothing really to do and all this stuff. So that they have banned a lot of accounts since 2020, like tens of thousands. And,
Wow.
So I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. I didn't realize it was that bad. And so he asked for server information, the rough time of when the incident happened, and footage of the incident. And so I uploaded that clip. It was a 6-minute video of the entire incident unedited on YouTube. It's unlisted, so nobody can see it. Sent it to him, sent the rough time, all this stuff. And a day later, he said that the person who killed me, the account was under investigation. And then yesterday, I think it's yesterday, I woke up to a message saying that the hacker had been banned. And that the producer of the game did say that when he saw the footage, he sounded like he did. Even from that, he said it was a bit weird. They said like he wasn't next to me, so he was definitely doing something. And so I'm guessing they monitored it for a day, and then realized that they were hacking, and so ended up getting banned. But yeah, it's and I asked in here and stuff like, is there any way to ban or report a cheater? Because I didn't want to make the video.
Yeah.
And so I was just going to I thought maybe there'd be a way on BI's website or something to be able to report on, but there is no report function for the official servers unless you contact what's it called? What's the anti-cheat?
Feedback tracker.
No, not even a feedback
tracker. And there's BattleEye.
BattleEye. They said you have to contact BattleEye themselves to get this player banned. So I was like, I really don't want to go through that hassle doing it.
This is the issue. Now, like Dumpgrass said in comment, about we can't expect the dev team to be on hand to monitor this, and every single one of them. And even in the if I go back to the Twitter post, you see Paul, the running man, saying I don't agree the devs should have admins for servers dealing with hack reports. But what are we meant to? Just a quick question, DOJ. I'm on the new channel, mate. You need to go to twitch.tv/878 Survivor FM for the Twitch stream now. It's not Boydie73 anymore for the podcast. But yeah, going back to this, the current system, BattleEye. I'm talking out of my ass here. I don't know bloody anti-cheat software that well, but I've never really heard great things about BattleEye. I've never really heard great things about any of the the system anti-cheat software. Generally, the accepted norm is that it's better playing the community servers because the communities manage it themselves. But
yeah, and
when there's hundreds of these public servers out there, what's the point of having them if there's not going to be a decent system for people to be able to report potential hackers?
So I got a lot of people saying that in comments. Why don't you just play community? And I'm like, I do play community. I play community more than official, 10 times over. But at some point as well, I feel like, can I not, like, the official servers are there for a reason to be played on. Am I not allowed to go back and enjoy these official servers? Maybe I don't want to play in a community server where there's admins and stuff. I don't, maybe I just want to go back and try just pure DayZ. I know that people say there's vanilla DayZ servers in community servers, but there's always something that makes them not 100% vanilla. So I'm like, I just want to go back and experience pure vanilla and see what everybody else has to deal with, since the majority of my audience plays on that. And people just didn't understand it, and I got shit for that. And then as well with people saying that devs shouldn't be adminning this and stuff, I don't think the devs should be there. I never mentioned that the devs should have admins or anything. I just said there needs to be a way to be able to at least report a person for it. And the running man's had this conversation with me as well, and he was like, it'll be very tricky to do that because everyone and anyone will be reporting anything. And I was like, I agree with him there. And I was like, if there was some way where you could only report if you had solid evidence, like video evidence or something like that, to make your
But then it becomes a thing of who's going to review all that evidence.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, vanilla servers have always been an issue, and they always will be. And it's very difficult to kind of police that kind of system. There are vanilla community servers. I know Spaggy servers. All of them are just purely vanilla. They don't change a bloody thing, which is great. So if you want a vanilla experience while having the aspects of it actually being policed properly, play on those servers for sure.
Yeah, I might have to. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we all.
How many people know that? How many people know that that's an option out there? Most people, there's an expectation that when you buy a game and you play on the servers provided by the company that makes that game, that those servers are going to be policed somehow. And the anti-cheat software is clearly, it's this way with everything, with viruses and ransomware and fucking malware and spyware and all the rest of it. They're always a step behind the people creating this stuff. But this is, it's a complicated matter.
It is a very, very complicated matter, and I do hope that in the future that the dynamic changes, but considering how it is, and BattleEye is a little bit of it's good, but it's not as good as people say. There's no way that it's going to catch every single person, because there's always new ways of people getting around, like the different systems that the DayZ devs implement or BattleEye updates to. But I'm hoping in the future that more attention gets put into it. And as I was saying off when we weren't live, is that there's a reason why 1.13 is updating official servers, but with community ones you don't have to. It's because of the amount of hackers and the amount of dupers, especially on console. Duping has always been really bad on console.
Yeah.
But I do hope that in the future it does get fixed, it does change. But we'll just have to see when it comes down to it. We'll just have to see what happens.
As well, just so people know, I made my update video then after that, announcing that the release date for 1.13 and stuff. And in that, they were saying that they are shutting down a load of official servers. There's a huge list of them that they are shutting down because they see more people are immigrating towards community servers, which is a good thing. So it means less servers, and hopefully it means it'll bring more people together. And I mean, I hope it'll make stuff easier to monitor when less
Now,
servers.
this is a good
I would
segue.
hope.
This is a good segue because with them doing that, what is the support going to be for modded servers in the future? We've talked about this in the past. Lad, you'll be able to talk about it quite a bit. Marks and I really only have experience from being the player side of an update. But many a community server has said that the changeover to a new patch is always awkward. It's gotten better of late, from what I understand, but has there been any changes announced for the way they're going to be doing that going forward if they're putting more emphasis on community servers?
I mean, from what I've seen in the patch notes, the updates in terms of the modding side has been relatively good. But every single update, no matter how good they streamline the process for mods always break. And even in XDK, we've already been contemplating, be like, are we even going to be able to open our next alpha test on time? Because we also rely on a few modders on their content for our server for now. And it's always a very tricky process. Way back when Modern first came, oh my fucking God, that was ballistic. Horseshit. But they did take the community feedback from modders about the whole thing, and it has gotten better and has got better, but it's not quite perfect yet. The problem is that there's a lot of things under the hood that the devs change and they don't tell people about.
Yes.
And I really, really wish that they would be a bit more transparent about that. And, I hope, because you've said before that the DayZ devs sometimes tune in. So I do hope that they hear me. Be more transparent, please.
Now, I want to quickly jump back to something, though. Mark, you agreed to a comment by Zom2006 in chat there. Official server's hardware seems to be outdated. They're lagging hard once the server is close to full. That's an interesting comment.
Yeah, so we experienced that on the exact same live stream. Server was full and it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. I made the dumb idea of trying to get into a car and drive one. I died in the car. It nudged off a barn door. I mean, nudged, ruined the car entirely, and it killed me instantly. And I was like, okay, we won't touch cars again. And but even walking around, like it was really, really bad.
So I'm guessing they would just be renting servers, not using dedicated servers.
Honestly, I don't know how it works.
They do use dedicated servers, but the problem is it's how DayZ handles in a server-side aspect. Now, from my understanding, in any other modders or server owners in the any of our chats can correct me, DayZ servers only run on a single core performance, and because of that, their servers might not be as good as, say, like other games out there. And because of that, when servers get more full, they get more populated, obviously the server FPS will drop, and when it gets to a certain level, things start getting, like, they start spiraling out of control, which is why you'll find better performance in some community servers compared to vanilla. Once that FPS to that certain number, things start going haywire, especially vehicles. Like, you'll find that when you join an empty server or a low pop server, especially in vanilla, you'll drive in a car, no problems at all. Maybe a few hitches here and there, but that's just because of your normal desync. But as soon as that pop goes up and that FPS goes down, that's where the issues lie. And it's very hard to tackle stuff like that because it not only affects vehicles, it affects, characters' inventory. It just affects characters in general and various stuff like that. So it's a very, very hard issue to tackle. And yes, whereas taking more servers offline might help mitigate some aspects, it won't solve it completely. The network side needs to be completely, I wouldn't say completely redone, but it does need a lot more attention. I know the devs were talking about it earlier this year, that they're going to focus on stuff like that. And I just hope that they actually keep to their word, because the networking side and the server side and getting everything up and running, it needs improvement. It needs to be more. It needs to use the resources they have a lot better, for sure.
Yeah, pretty much everyone in chat was agreeing with you, mate. One core, and sounds correct. Dumpgrow's saying that RAM makes up for that.
It does, yes.
See, this is why I'm glad we've got a modding genius on the show now, Mark. None of that stuff makes any sense to me. It's like cores and RAM, and everyone knows how bad I am with this sort of stuff. But yeah, so that's actually very, very interesting to hear that
what I did,
the official servers don't play as good as the community servers.
I put, if you want to have a look at it in the team podcast agenda, I did put a timestamp and a link to the live stream where you'll see just the characters somewhere just skipping around the place, and even though I was getting fine FPS, it felt like my FPS itself was just not there. So if you go to 2 hours, 10 minutes, 30 seconds,
I can see it already.
It's fairly. Apparently, somebody was saying it is pretty rough, but like you'll see it here now in a second when I just. Yeah, it's right there. You'll see like these characters and everything just skipping all over the place, and it's really, really bad. And it got bad towards the end of the server restart, but then when the server restarted, it was kind of fine again because it refreshed everything. 8 hours or whatever it is. You see the way like that player and stuff is just skipping everywhere. So Nightmare to drive cars on, I wouldn't even try it.
That's pretty ordinary that cars don't even work. See, I've been a defender in the past when it comes to cars and said, well, I play on community servers that are well run, and I generally don't have an issue with cars. It's when you go on these servers with McMansion bases and 1,001 different mods and Batmobiles and God knows what else that you have problems. But to find out that vanilla DayZ servers are struggling with cars, that makes the car situation worse than I realised it was, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that can really impact the server, even like community servers, like especially mods that are not optimized that well. Like there'll be some mods like in terms of. So to explain this, I have to explain how LODs work. So your LOD, which means level of distance, it kind of means like how it'll look depending on your distance. So if something's really close to you, it's very highly detailed, it's got a lot of stuff to it. But the further you get, the more poor it looks to save in performance. And the way that's supposed to work, it's not meant to be noticeable, but DayZ's...
So in layman's term, that would be bushes. When you look at a bush from a distance, like I was watching someone stream the other day and they saw a barrel in a bush because the leaves hadn't rendered into the distance. Then when you get up closer to it, it looks like you can barely see the barrel because everything's rendered in. So that's what you're talking about here?
Exactly, yes. Okay. And some modders, from what I've seen, they don't tend to do their LODs perfectly fine. So when you have an unoptimized model that's really highly detailed, it'll affect your performance when you get into that network bubble. And when that happens, especially if that item is an inventory, like it has an inventory and it's got more unoptimized stuff, it really fucking drags down the performance, and it's an absolute it's a piss take, and it can cause client crashes in really extreme cases, server crashes.
Oh, the lag then.
And I've actually had to help a popular server, the Hideout, with a lot of their a few of their weapons, but a lot of their optics, because their optics were unoptimized because the last person didn't do a good job, and they used to cause a lot of server crashes. Now they don't, because they're optimized and a lot of attention's been put into it. And it as long as people actually know what they're doing in terms of like trying to save on performance and stuff like that, the server issues might not be as bad. But again, it does depend on server to server. One community server might have the best hardware possible. Another server might just be a rented server.
Okay, we're doing something here that I'm going to completely switch our direction here. We're doing something that we've been accused of in the past and we've tried to rectify. But if it's this bad for PC servers, how fucking bad is it for console? They don't have fucking custom servers. With custom hardware and dedicated and all the rest of it. Aiden John's just written in comment, there's only a couple of decent community servers on PlayStation, and it just made me wonder, with all of these issues, what's it like for those poor buggers?
I mean, you also have to take into consideration for the console. At the moment, they are using very dated hardware, and DayZ's not meant to run on that kind of hardware, and it's always been an issue. Like when DayZ first came out for consoles, a lot of people were surprised. Like, how's that going to work? Not only in terms of like functionality, but in terms of performance. And it shows already. Like, I played DayZ on an OG PS4 and a Xbox One Slim, and their performance was just it was
terrible.
like playing DayZ on the highest settings on a entry level PC. It was rubbish. It was terrible.
The one thing that sorry to cut you off, lad, but the one thing that
that's all right.
drives me mad about the console version of DayZ is the screen tearing. I don't know if you see it in video. Oh my god, it's sick. It's sickening. The amount of screen tearing they get in that game is unbelievable. Unreal.
We've got two fairly regular console players in chat. We've got Scalespeeder and DonSibley, who both play a lot of DayZ on Xbox. Scalespeeder is pointing out we don't have mods to screw things up, but I'm more interested in the vanilla version right now. Like, we're talking about the issues that we're seeing with Marx's performance here, playing on a vanilla public server, and what you were talking about with vehicles. I'm genuinely very interested to hear, if it's this bad. I don't know.
On the extreme end, yes, it can be very, very bad. But in terms of an average, it's okay. But it's very hard to tackle, obviously, on our end, because there's nothing much that we can do. It's more like what the DayZ devs and what their network guys can do at the end of the day. So
I'd be very interested to know what hardware they're running for these public servers and whether they're going to increase the quality of it, to lift the quality or the experience. But
if you go to that video and go to 1 hour 8 minutes. 30 seconds around that general area, you'll see where I die in this car, and you'll see what the vehicles are like. So it's at about just before 9.
I've turned the volume up
see.
so we can see. But
so you'll already
you can
see.
Tell already. That's warning signs. Get out! Get out!
I was like, we were desperate to get into this thing, and I've never been in a car that drove this bad before, even on community service. It was undrivable. I've never experienced this before until today. It was undrivable. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, they're very bad. I mean, so it's like, when you take this into consideration, and then you have like some servers, like community servers, which are very high pop. They got like 120.
It's right here.
There's a reason why
it's not stable at all.
Yeah, there's a reason why they say we don't comp vehicle related stuff. Because of stuff like this. If this happens on a vanilla server that's maxed out at 60 players, just imagine what it's like in a 120 pop, server that's maxed out. It's ridiculous.
How did that kill you? Like you said, how did that kill you?
Don't know. And it instantly destroyed the car as well.
I was waiting to see the car go flipping through the sky, or it just bumped into a wall, and the next thing the car's fucking dead, and you're dead.
It tapped the wall. It did it left me speechless. It was funny now looking back at it, but then I was like, Jesus, this is
Scalespeed is saying in chat, we have fun in other ways on console. We just avoid cars. I'm guessing, yeah. But that is wow. That, and this is just a pure public server with no mods. How many people were online? Do you know?
Full. It was full. There was a queue of about 4 people to get into it. Full, yeah. But
when you say
what
full,
I did notice,
what's the population for a
60?
60. Okay.
60. Yeah. So what I also did notice as well, I think it's in this update coming, they've decreased the spawn items of car parts. In this update coming, which I think is a kind of a little nudge to say, don't go near the cars. You're not going to like it. So I think that might have something to do with it. But I think in this update, they are reducing the spawn parts of cars on servers. which is a good thing.
Can you do dedicated servers for console?
Mm-hmm.
You can.
I'm pretty sure, yes, you can. I mean, I'm not well versed in the console aspect of DayZ, unlike, Don Sibley here. But, yeah, you can get your own console servers, but in terms of, like, what you can do with them, it's still very limited. But I could be wrong, Don Sibley in chat. Hello. You might... yeah, so as it says, then all through Nitredo, or I believe that's how I pronounce it.
Yep.
And from my recollection, their servers are not the best. They're just straight up not.
So. Yeah.
Yes. I literally, every time I hear about a Nitredo server, I always hear people say they only rent one for testing mods and not for an actual community. So, like, if you want a proper community, you get a dedicated server. You don't rent.
Yeah. But you can't do that on console.
So yeah.
Dude, this is this is eye opening. Like, I've heard a lot, and you just disregard it. Like, come on, guys, fucking, you're probably playing on a modded server, even on console, where they've got extra vehicles and mega bases. But to hear that the vanilla standard of the game is still this bad with vehicles, is wow.
Like
go on, Mark. Sorry.
On a community modded server, you could have a full community modded server with about 100 ping, and sometimes cars will work fine because they're on a dedicated server. They'll work fine. You can drive them around. They'll be a little bit bumpy, but they're perfectly drivable. They won't fly off anywhere. These servers are like this is another thing as well. The servers were full, and I'm on an EU server that's in Germany, so it's not too far away, not too close either. I was on about 150 ping. The ping on the official servers on DayZ are brutal. I don't know what it is or how it does it, but I've never gotten a server that's under 100 ping. Don't know why it happens, but yeah, it's pretty bad. That's one thing I would also say as well. And another one thing, just quickly, it happened in the stream zone multiple times during the session. I would randomly get disconnected because I think it was what was it, like a timeout error or something like that.
Timeout error,
it wasn't
something like that. Yeah,
it was some disconnect thing anyway, and it would always disconnect me. And it happened to the two people I was playing with as well, constantly throughout it. We're walking along. It happened to me. I was throwing a grenade at this door to raid this base, and as the grenade landed on the floor, I disconnected as I'm right next to the grenade. I'm like, oh no. Luckily, I spawned back in and I was perfectly fine. So I don't know why it didn't. But yeah, my heart was racing while I was back in. But it was just, it constantly happens. You're constantly disconnecting constantly. I don't know why it happens, but it's really frustrating.
Even DOJ, he's on the YouTube feed, but he's saying he can't even play on officials because of how bad the ping is, even EU servers.
Yeah.
As soon as your ping spikes over 300, you're kicked out of the server.
Unstable connection. That's the error I get. I just checked it down on the stream. Unstable connection.
Back to the car thing. Johnny Bravo is saying, so reading the script for vehicle damage, if the vehicle receives damage in excess of 3,000, then it automatically kills all occupants. So somehow when Mark, he said hit the barn, but when Mark looked at the barn, the vehicle somehow received more than that threshold, which automatically killed him.
Crazy. Yeah,
it is crazy. It's absolutely mental, like how it works. And I remember during the alpha days, there were frequent times where servers would get taken down to get better hardware. But as far as I'm aware, that hasn't happened in quite some time. And, there's been a lot of new components that have come out that really help with a server. It's like you can run a really good server, a dedicated server with a PC like I've got, somewhat. And, my PC, I've spent like £900 on it. Well, a little bit more now. And it's not so bad, but it makes you think. It's like, what is the hardware? And going back to what you were saying, Boyd, it's like, love to know what kind of hardware we're actually dealing with when it comes to the network side of things, because if if a vanilla server can't handle what a community server can do, you kind of need to reevaluate what's going on. You really need to reevaluate what's going to happen from now. Like, when are we going to get another update to the network machines or the dedicated machines that they use for the game?
Can you explain that?
So, I mean,
I wonder will that happen now when they close all these servers because there's less servers to host?
Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying before. Are they going to improve the qualities? Is that what you mean, lad?
It's hard to say if they will improve the quality because a server machine can have several instances, kind of like how a PC can have several tabs of Chrome open, for example. The more tabs that you have open, the more performance degradation you'll get. And it's the same way with a server machine. The more instances of DayZ you'll have, the less quality it'll be. So maybe, theoretically, depending on how many are getting taken off of a machine at one time, the performance might increase, but it's very hard to say because we don't know the actual specs of their machines. And, you know, for whatever reasons, they're not willing to say anything about it, which is a bit of a shame.
Just out of curiosity, now this is aimed more at the console side of it, so I understand this may be a bit outside of your comfort zone, lad, but how much impact, and I'm also asking Skull Speeder and Don Sibley if they can provide any feedback on this as well, being more of the console gurus, but how much impact does having a public server go, the impact of the people connecting to that server? Now, you'll get in PC, you'll get a range of people who've got the latest 3090s and fucking, I don't know, 8-core bloody things and all the rest of the Gucci stuff. But then you're going to get someone who's only got a 980 and, you know, an i5 or something like that. Now, with console, you're going to have people who've got the current gen consoles. How much impact do people connecting to those servers with the old gen consoles have? Is that going to impact the performance of a server as well?
So yes, the more players that a server will have in general, the lower the performance will be. So, you know, like for example, on our XDK servers, I know you're talking about console and vanilla, but I'm just saying this as an example. On our empty servers, when we're just doing testing, our server FPS can be in excess of 6,000 FPS, which is fantastic. On a full pop server, when everything's fully going, it's about 2,000, 2,500. So you lose quite a lot of performance, and that also depends on what's on the character, because the game also has to read what is on that character's inventory, everything like that, what guns it has, what the items they have in general. And the more stuff that's around, like in the CLE, which is why when dupers are really going for it, the server degradation is really fucking bad. No, it's really, really, really bad. So... so it's how do I explain it a bit more? I'm struggling to find the right words. Basically, it does depend on how many people are on. When you join, the game has to read all your data. It has to read everything on your character. And depending on what you've got, the performance will go down on a certain level. So... when you've got a full pop and everyone's got a lot of stuff in the inventory on a vanilla server, yeah, that's kind of like, it's good, but it's bad at the same time, if you know what I mean. I mean, I could be wrong, like, you know, Skill Speed and Don Sibley can correct me on that.
Don's saying he's not sure it makes a difference. He thinks it's just player numbers and stuff on the server, like cars and bases.
Yes.
Scarspeed has said before, bases are the big thing. Big bases slow things down. Dumbgrass saying player connects do drop performance a bit until they are fully in the game. So a large influx of players at once could tank performance. But so I was meaning more once they're in the game, do their slower hardwares impact the experience more for other people around them? But it doesn't appear that that's the case so much.
No. I don't think that is the case. The only impact they'll get is on themselves, on their own clients. Maybe if somebody's ping is really bad, it'll look like they're teleporting, and then that's when it'll impact like other people's like experience. But in general, you're pretty much okay.
Don says he thinks it'll just affect your own experience, which is obvious, yeah. The poorer your hardware, the worse the connection you're going to have. But I imagine you're running, going back to your original video with the lag and that, I imagine you're running a pretty decent PC there, Marks.
Yeah, I have a Ryzen 5 2600, an RTX 2060, 16 gigs of RAM. So it does the job. And I'm, as well as doing that, I'm streaming and recording at the same time there as well.
I'd say probably your only weak point there is probably like me, mate, your RAM. You probably need to look at doubling that at least.
No, I can't with this motherboard. I've tried that before. It kills it. So I can only go as high as 16. But like that's still with recording and streaming as well. And I'm still getting 100 FPS in game. Like my performance is fine. Very playable. But it was literally like, it wasn't just me experiencing that lag. The two people I was playing with were also experiencing that lag as well.
Yep.
So I think it was just the server. It was an hour before server restart as well. So once server restart happened, all that lag died down for a while and then came back up again.
Yeah,
and also, I
that
think
always happens. Yeah.
I think maybe, I don't know if they can do it, but I think more regular restarts on official servers is needed. Because that's why like these big modest servers, they restart every 3 hours. Because they need to. Otherwise, it'll just kill performance.
Exactly. I used to actually play in a modded server which would restart every hour.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good at all. Like if your server needs a restart every hour, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Like XDK, I believe we restart every 4 to 6 hours.
Yep.
And that's reasonable. That's okay. We're using a lot
4
of
hours is sort of the standard that I'm used to when it comes to service.
So it's all good. Yeah.
Interesting conversation, guys. Very, very interesting conversation. I think there's going to be more discussion about this, particularly with the state of the public service provided by DayZ. I think we need to ask them, what sort of hardware they're running. Are they just rented servers or are they dedicated? Are they going to look at improving the quality of them in the future? I would have assumed that cars would have run well on public service because there's no mods like Scale Speeder said before, we don't have mods to screw things up on console. Well, you would assume the same for public service, and you assume that vehicles would run well, but maybe it is dupers. Maybe it's there's some other X factor that we're just not considering that's causing these issues. Yeah.
When the V3S was added back in 110, trying to drive that thing on those public servers, that truck is slow enough as it is on good ping. When you're trying to drive that thing on 150 ping, somehow it becomes slower. I don't know how it happens, but it becomes slower. It was faster. It was literally faster walking at one stage.
Yes.
So
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
It needs to be fixed at some stage. But yeah.
Oh,
now,
God, yes.
we have a feel good that we need to talk about, guys. Every now and then, the DayZ community rallies behind something, whether it be when they rallied with Wobo or with Doc Satan from the DDU community, even the one that I did for my mate Moonshine to get him a gaming laptop. The poor bugger was playing on a 10-year-old laptop, playing DayZ with a touchpad. They managed to come out and just impress us with what they do. Now, this one involves another community, one that I'm not a part of, but I'm aware of, and that's Erno. Erno, we've had on the show before. He's a pillar of the DayZ community as well. And I'm just going to read it out to you. So, Erno tagged everyone in his Discord. Please read. About 20 days ago, Dubinek reached out to us about a player many of you know. At Merck, his situation was not looking good, life-threatening, with his liver failing. Today is the 27th. On the 26th, we've reached the pool of $5,500 for Merck to get his treatment. We did that as a community. I can tell you how proud I am. I can't tell you how proud I am to run this community. This is the most emotional, heartwarming thing I have ever been a part of. And to call myself owner of that, I am lost for words. A massive shout out to Agripom Security Service, who donated $1,800 on the last evening. If this wasn't donated, he could not get his treatment and would not make it. Thank you all for donating. I just got out of a call with Merc. It was emotional. He thanked me a lot, but this wasn't just me. This was all of us, Stalker Z and Renegade, 2 communities. Merc, his liver is currently at 34%. At 33%, his liver will fail and he will go into a shock. Tomorrow at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, he will go to the hospital and get the help he needs. If his body reacts well on the medicine, then his liver will recover, going up to 35% to 36% and so on. If it doesn't help, then he would need a liver transplant, which we all helped cover in the pool. Unfortunately, mothers and children come first in this order. I don't know about unfortunately, but I can understand it in this perspective. But Merc will be kept on life support if this happens. If this is the case, then the outcome could be anything. He may live but not remember anything or not be able to speak. There is also a chance he will not make it. If this is the case, we will have something to remember him by for the rest of Stalker Z's experience. But we will all pray for him and hope that he will make it. I didn't know Merc before the call I just had with him, but we called for nearly 3 hours and I made a new friend. Merc is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet and he deserves the world and we are making that possible for him. I want to show a message I received from Merc that we wanted to share for the community. And then Merc says, I want to thank you open-heartedly for posting that in your Discord to your community. This has led to me having hope over desperation. I didn't ask for this, and it honestly broke me down when I seen how many people actually can come together in times or situations like this, especially for someone like me. How I was brought up and where I was raised, nobody showed you any type of love, including family. If it was any love at all, it was the toughest of loves, leading to my thought process that nobody cares about me over a long course of time. And I thought that was the normal way of life. I had a very different lifestyle until I joined your community a while back, and my life has changed for the better. But unfortunately, my health has taken a turn for the worse. I have no family and nobody IRL since I relocated that I actually see or know. Before I moved, I joined your community, which, I know I was right. Before I moved, I joined your community, which changed my life and the people in it. I didn't know where I would be today without the knowledge, appreciation, and just overall good people that got me to where I am today by being themselves around me. I just try to treat everyone the same and be fair. Overall, have fun, you know. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. For anything in the past that I've done that I caused harm, I apologise. And anything I can do to repay you, please just say it. I never expected things to go the way they are, and I just needed to personally thank you, just in case things do not end up well for me. As each day passes by is another day I'm at risk. So what you did increased my chances and shortened my timeline of waiting. Thank you very much. You are appreciated. Hey Erno, with the current time I have and at the rate at which my liver is failing, and I am in a position where I am taking everything that was raised in the pool and what I collected in the outside and speaking with the head physician and department chief either today or the following day and asking them, begging them to get things started. I was overall approved for a medical grant and assistance, but it is applied after the initial payment has been made, which is the $5,500 which was shown in the pool. The total cost is $25,000, but when the grant applies, it will leave me with $5,500 upfront payment. I am short on time and funds roughly, and just wanted to reach out to let you know that I thank you and each and everyone from the community for all the love and support. Everyone has given me a lot more hope and love over the course of a short period of time than I received in my whole life. All the experiences and people I met up to this point is because of that. I love you and love them all. I thank you and I love them all. Chief's operation hours begins in 4 hours from now, so I am waiting to hear back. Then I go in for a brief meeting to discuss my current situation and if they are going to help me or not with the current status I'm in and the funds I have. Just wanted to give you a heads up so you can manage the pool costs how you feel is appropriate. But I believe it is already down or going down in the next 24 hours due to my personal request, as there is no way for me to physically accept any funds once I'm there, whether I am helped or not. The decision was based off my last test results and my time frame provided. My mother is coming to see me tomorrow here and I am on the donor list. If things don't work out, it will be possible I will be machined. I made a deal with her that we would do everything possible and get 100 opinions before ever pulling the plug on each other in medical situations, but with the non-stop calls, applications and information obtaining over a long period of time with this, we know our limits and what's done and could be done with what we have. It is out of our hands now. Update. I woke up this morning from not even having half to the pool maxed out. I can't believe it. I'm at a loss for words. Because of Erno and Dubanek and their communities, I have a chance to live. I have a chance to survive. I love you all. I don't know about you guys, but that's one of the most heartwarming fucking things that the DayZ community has done. Like, you know, the two that I think of, or even the three. Sadly, they weren't able to do anything to help save Doc Satan, but they were able to help him be memorialised. And thank you, DayZ, for adding a memorial to him in the game. Lobos was a horrible situation, but even Moonshine's was a horrible situation. But this guy's fucking life was on the line.
Yeah. And
if it hadn't have been for a community being able to raise $5,500 to put the down payment, what value do you put in the life? Well, in this case, it was $25,000, and the $5,500 was able to get the grant for. I wonder what country he's in, because it doesn't work like that here in Australia. We have a much better healthcare system, but this is to be commended. This is, you feel grateful to be parts of communities that enable things like this to happen, don't you, lad?
Oh God, yes. I mean, it's not every day that you hear something like this at all, and it really, like, with all the negativity you hear about, like, not only DayZ but the world in general, it's just really nice just to have that specs of, like, just pure fucking goodness. Like this bloke. Yeah. I've never spoken to Merc. I've never had any interactions at all with him, but I genuinely fucking hope that bloke is fucking he's doing better. I really, really hope so. And
does anyone know? Does anyone in chat know? Like, I don't know any more since this situation.
Please, like, if you do know anything, please either tell us, like, as soon as you can, or in the Discord, or just somehow, so we know what's going on. I just want to know if he's doing better, because it's fucking awesome. It's just awesome seeing stuff like this happen, and it doesn't happen all the time. As he said, with, like, other really key prominent members in the community, like when Wobo had to go away because of his mum. It was heartbreaking. It was absolutely heartbreaking. But the people came together to really help support him. And now he's back. He's back after all this time, and it's like, in terms of his content, it's like he never left at all, and it's fantastic. Yeah. And I just really hope that the DayZ community, when it comes to stuff like this, they always pull through, because this is just fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely amazing, isn't it, Marks?
Yeah, it is. It is. Isn't it always just the worst when, like, somebody's in a life-threatening situation and they won't do anything until they get their money? Always money.
Yeah.
It
makes you hate it at times, doesn't it? It makes you hate money.
It does.
Yeah, you can't survive without money, but the fact that this guy's life depended on him being able to get $5,500, and in the situation he was in, basically seems like a bit of a loner, relocated, no support network around him, and a bunch of toxic fucking gamer nerds who people always love to criticize for how antisocial and that we are, came together and fucking hopefully saved this guy's life. Unfucking believable. In the Twitch chat, sadly I can't post it directly to the YouTube chat, but I'll try to remember to put a link to it in the video as well. But if you're looking to get professional editing done of a video, definitely check him out. He's got a deal at the moment. Video editing is now £1 for every minute of footage in your video. I do a range of different videos and can apply sweet custom FX, sweet looking custom FX made by myself too. Artwork also available for discounted price, and so are 3D assets. No config. I don't know what that means, but retweets appreciated. So yeah, check him out. Now, we just had a question. Who are we talking about? We were talking about a person who basically had their life saved by Erno's community. Their Phantom Plan. You can see it on the screen there. I should have made it bigger before while you guys were watching it, but yeah. There we go. That should hopefully be... it's a bit blurry, but yeah. That's the joys of streaming and screen sharing on Discord.
Just post the status and oh yeah, he's talking on YouTube, isn't he?
Yeah. If you check out Erno on Twitter, you'll be able to find it. It's his pinned post. So I do hope they post an update, and we'll be sure to keep you updated if we hear anything as well. But just regardless of the outcome, everyone who donated to that, especially that fucking Chad who donated $1,800, that's fucking awesome. $1,800 for someone you probably don't even know, just because you can. Yeah. Fucking awesome. Absolutely awesome. What else have we got? We had now the Namol's Naked and Afraid Challenge. Now, I'm a member of a number of different DayZ groups, whether it be on Facebook or wherever. But this one impressed me. People always say that DayZ is boring. I'm getting bored with playing DayZ. I've even said it in the past myself. But then you take a break from the game, and then you have a think about it, and you come up with, what can I do to challenge myself? If it's getting boring, it means you're either getting too good or you're not good enough. So you need to work on either mixing it up or just getting better. And this here, what a fucking challenge. They said it couldn't be done. The Namol's Naked and Afraid Challenge. Between us, we took only a burlap sash, one axe, one knife, a sharpening stone, a box of matches, a fishing rod, a pot and a tripod, and a blaze, because DayZ doesn't have bows. 3 of us set out to circumnavigate both islands. The only loot we allowed ourselves was new shoes. One died about a third of the way around due to a Z glitch. So the 2 of us left pushed on through freezing wind, darkness and blizzards. We lit so many fires, but even that didn't stop the frostbite. Half a dozen times one of us was flashing red on the verge of death, but through patience and teamwork we pulled it off. After much jubilation, we swam out to the ice field in search of an honourable death by polar bear. Even though every part of us was frostbitten and only yellow health was obtainable, our cold stat bar maxed. We lasted well over half an hour before the cold took us. We never found that bear. What a fucking great idea. What a great idea. I love shit like this.
I love stuff like that. It's really good. Like it just goes to prove that no matter what kind of aim DayZ goes for, everyone's always gonna have some way to play it, and just doing shit like this is just fantastic. It's funny.
I kind of wish that they'd done it as a video. That would have been a very, very cool video to watch. Probably wouldn't get thousands of views. It's not a clickbaity sort of title, but for your true DayZ hardcore aficionados, they'd watch that and go, fuck yeah, I could watch you fucking a highlighted fucking edit of that, and creatively done. That could be a very cool video. The right sort of music and effects and that. It would have been, yeah. And like Dumpgrub said, he summed up what would have been probably hours of a journey into what took me probably 30 seconds to read. Very, very creative storytelling there. Very good storytelling. We never found that bear.
Honestly, I'd love someone to do that on a live stream for charity.
Yeah. Maybe just for fun.
Even just for fun, but it's like having something like that, like setting yourself that real fucking hard challenge to just get around like a certain map with the bare essentials. Yeah. And you're not allowed to pick anything.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. The bare essentials. We never found that bear. The bear. Boom, 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 boom.
But but it's just doing something like that. I mean, just doing this is an inspiration for a lot of people, so it's
like Phantom playing saying on the YouTube chat, DayZ is just one of those games where you could just do anything, meet anyone, make new friends. It's just a beautiful game. I've had some of the best times playing DayZ. If you say that DayZ is boring, if you're one of these people who can't work out what the idea is, I'm sorry, the problem is not the game, the problem is you. You're used to playing railroaded games where it spoon feeds you what objective and what you're meant to do. You have no creativity. You need to open your eyes. This is a blank canvas that you can do whatever you want, and there is a server out there that'll cater to whatever you want to do. You want to run and gun, there's plenty of servers. You want to hardcore, you want to role play, there's plenty of servers. So yeah.
So you're right. I mean, with a map like Namalsk, and I want to do that whenever their next update comes out. Marks, me and you.
I haven't
that'd
played
be a
Moleskin
fucking-
ages, and this made me want to play it again.
Oh.
It was like, yeah, okay,
Yes.
I want to give that a try.
Oh mate, it's gonna be so fun. It'll be really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, what else did we have? There's a Jesus video. How fucking good was this? I don't care if I get struck down. I don't care if it's copyrighted music. It's just not the same
video
without
was
the
just-
music.
Yeah.
Wait, was there music on it? I listened to music. Oh, there is. Yeah, it was really cool. Really, really cool.
I
The caption was gold. The caption was fucking gold that he wrote for it. What if, just for a moment, things went back to normal? What if all of this was just a bad dream? I wish. This is the sort of shit that DayZ need to be paying people like him to make for them to release as official fucking promo trailers for this game. That was
Definitely.
like,
I mean,
seriously, I've got
yes.
half a fucking bar of fucking going on right now. It's one of those things that, if you hadn't played DayZ, close on them, and when you go back to free cam, they get frozen and keep their stance.
Oh,
So that's,
fuck.
yeah.
That's brilliant.
But has this not been shared more? 42 retweets, 8 quote tweets. This should be shared fucking hundreds of times. It's got
Didn't the
14,100
DayZ,
views, which is good, but
That's brilliant. Didn't the DayZ devs actually? Well, the DayZ Twitter account actually retweet it. I'm pretty sure they did.
I think they did.
Yeah. It's just absolutely fucking fantastic. And I just love it. I just absolutely love it.
I saw that, and I didn't see the last part of it where it switched to back to the apocalypse.
Yes.
Style, so
Mm.
I instantly thought of it. I was like, "Fuck, this could make for a brilliant video intro." So yeah, you never know. One day.
just
One day we'll
the creativity of some people blows my mind. I have the creativity of a brick. And that, he's able to come up with this. But if you've ever seen the work that this guy does, servers like Minders Karma Crew, Livonia server, they got Dance of Jesus to do a lot of custom mapping work. The guy is an artist.
He is.
Yeah, and some people make me sick with how fucking good they are at coming up with this sort of shit. It's fucking disgusting that he's got more talent in his little toe than I've got in my entire fat fucking ass. You disgust me, Dance of Jesus. You're fucking disgusting. Don't ever talk to me again.
I've always been impressed with the stuff that he's made. I've always been impressed.
Is that Cherno?
Yeah, that's Cherno, dude.
Yeah.
You don't notice?
I couldn't recognize if it was Cherno or not. No.
Yeah, that's it's the fucking in front of the broken down hotel. See that?
Oh yeah.
Fucking
But
how
just
could
made
you
it
not
look
recognize
better.
it?
No, it's that well done. This is a Redux version of it. The shipwreck's not there. It just
Yeah,
looks so much better. This looks truly apocalyptic.
It's really, really.
This is how DayZ should look.
Yep. This is a mod. That Redux thing?
Yeah, he
It's,
says it. Where is it?
He from what I understand in the,
DayZ
in
expansion.
the comments. Yeah,
Oh, it's the expansion, right? Okay.
he used
FPS
DayZ
killer
expansion for a few assets, and he was just messing around with the editor. That's pretty much all he was doing.
Right,
And he created such a really, really, really nice fucking scenery. Fucking.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Very fucking well done, mate. Very well done. You sicken me with how creative you are, sir.
When's the next video? Jesus, when is it? I want a continuation. I want to see a follow up of this character, the survivor, up until he bloody dies.
He should do one at Northwest Airfield where it's active, people filling planes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
That would be, my God. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be cool. Speaking of cool,
That'd be fucking
how
nice.
fucking cool is this car? Would you drive it? Would you drive this car?
Yes. Oh, yes. I so would. I
Marks?
so would. The car is beautiful.
It is cool, yeah.
Would you drive it?
Probably.
if DayZ came to you and said, here's $5,000 plus we'll pay for your car to get reskinned, would you do it?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I actually tweeted out, I'll see if I can find it, and asked who gets to drive this car. I would be,
Yes,
I did love the top comment.
It.
At least their cars stay on the ground.
Pretty much anyone who needs to move between the offices. Yes.
Yeah.
I like the way they actually like linked the locations of their studios and shit like that. That was the nice touch.
Where is it? There it is. Who gets to drive this? And then, yeah. But my old Land Rover I was about to paint just got changed from paint to DayZ wrap. Chainsaw squirrel. Hit him up for a sponsorship, buddy. Hit him up for a sponsorship. Drive around in the DayZ car. But yeah, pretty much anyone who needs to move between the offices in check. And then, yeah, link to the different offices. I'd never leave that car except to play DayZ. But no, that's a sick fucking skin. That is a sick skin to put on a car. It just looks badass. It looks fucking really good. And if BI have other offices, for a couple of grand to get a skin put on a car, and it's free promo just driving it around because it's a sick logo. I've always said that the DayZ logo is fucking awesome. It is a really catchy fucking logo.
It's fucking good. I wear it in my shirt. I got the shirt. So it's fucking great.
Yeah. Oh, no, wrong. There we go. Roll back up. Now, this is one that you shared, lad. The Infusion AI mod has been released.
Yes, it's from my understanding, it's not the 1.0 release, but it's up for the public to use now. Mm-hmm. I've actually been testing it a little bit with the Hideout because they'll be implementing it, and we came across quite a few issues with it. But the creator, the main guy, Rally, and I believe that's how you pronounce his name, he came in and he just got to fucking work. He was getting all the feedback and he was absolutely fucking top notch. In my experience, despite the bugs, it's a fun mod. It's a really, really fun mod to use, and I can't wait for more servers to use it. They will have to be a bit careful because obviously, server degradation, as we were talking about before, but having an actual AI mod, which you don't have to fucking pay for, which has been actively developed by a really, really smart bloke, is just amazing. It's fantastic, and I can't wait to experience it when it's more polished.
That's why I'm waiting to make a video on it. I just need server information with that.
Yes.
I just need servers to have it. That's all I'm waiting for to make a video.
I know.
On it.
I believe Dumgra was also doing some testing as well for New Dawn. In fact, that actually reminds me, and I'll discuss something once we finish this segment as well, but this guy, he takes all feedback with the mod. He does a really, really nice job of, accepting the criticisms, accepting the feedback, and working around it. Like, we came across a really severe issue in terms of like network bubbles and client crashes, and I believe he managed to actually fix it and gave us like some tips on how to make it work more better in our favor. So,
one thing that makes me happy is what we're looking at here.
Is Patreon.
That's in Australian dollars that is showing up. So that would probably be maybe €100 a month, which I still think is criminal for the quality of work that he's doing. But I would like to see more of you modders start up a Patreon. It's a great way for people to support you, and for you to have a regular income. Plus, Patreon give you one of the best rates of, they take, I think it's only 10%. Don't quote me on that, but they take only 10% of the money pledged as their fee. And you can do some fantastic rewards where it sends merch out to people. That's what we do with the patreon.com/87A Survivor FM, where it sends you out shirts, coffee mugs, depending on the tier you join in. But I'm really happy to see that he has 12 patrons. I'd like to see 112 patrons. I'd like to see 1,112 patrons. For the likes of him, for the likes of Inclement Dab, Dancer Jesus, Helkiana, Dumpgra, all these people. There's so many more. And if I didn't say you, lad, obviously you as well, mate. But there's so many more out there. I think this is a great method. I believe even the expansion has a Patreon as well.
Yes.
And I unsubbed because I wasn't sure what they're doing, but it looks like they're about to come out with another big update again soon. So I might look at joining their one again. But it's a great way for people to support, and to his credit as well, he's got it nice and high up there so people can see it if they do go to the actual workshop page, which is always the big issue. And heaven forbid he actually puts a link that pops up if you use the code lock in game. Still stings from that one. But yeah, a great way to support someone who's doing it. Don't maybe do it. Just do it, mate. Just fucking do it. It's a great way for people to support you.
When I make my video on it, what I do with all mods nowadays, I link, if they have a PayPal or a Patreon, I link that down below and I mention it in the video as well. So if people do want to donate or support it, I usually say if you want to support the mod instead, because if you say donate, it sounds a bit. So I would say if you want to support, everything's linked down below. So.
Yeah, and it's the best way to go about it, and it is a shame that some content creators or mod creators or whatever, like Rallian, hasn't got the support. The fact that he does have support there, it's still fucking fantastic. That's still really fucking cool. It's really good stuff that what he's got going there. And like I said, the fact that he's developing this mod in his own free time, that you don't have to pay for it, unlike other mod makers who are intentionally making like stuff like this for a fucking paywall. It's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic, and I legit cannot wait to see more stuff, because XDK might be using something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, so it's going to be really, really fucking cool to see what happens with it.
I think it's a great way for some communities as well. Going a bit off topic here, but looking at Patreon as a way, because it links up with Discord, so you can have an exclusive section of your Discord for your Patreons to join, and you can do the merch so that once they've been a member for 12 months or 6 months or whatever, they can get a shirt sent out to them with the server logo or something memorable. I just think it's a great way to do it.
It really is, yeah.
And it's all done by Patreon. You just set it up, and they send out all of the info. You don't need to get addresses. People don't need to dox themselves, etc. It's just all easily done. But kudos to Raelion. I'm very excited to see this, and at the core of it also. The big AI mod we discussed as well, although we did see the update of that Stalker Z fucking monster in Erno's footage the other week, which looked damn good, didn't it, Marks?
It did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Because that mod goes, but I expect that AI modders we're a long way away from seeing anything come out of that yet, because it's just such a learning curve. So
yeah,
it is.
We're a ways away.
even with my testing of it, you can definitely tell it's still in like a rough early stage, but it's going somewhere. It's definitely going somewhere. It's a lot better than the footage that I seen like, you know, quite some time ago about it. So the fact that, you know, it has gotten better and he's not fucking bullshitting when it comes to it is even better. I was sitting in a voice chat with him in another mod called Demon Forge, who's absolutely brilliant as well, and they were talking about all these like different functions and stuff like that. And you know, I'm a modder, you know, I excel at textures, modeling, stuff like that, but they were talking about script and stuff I had no fucking clue about. I was like,
I'm glad I wasn't there then, Mark. I just would have been going. That scene with Lisa Simpson where she's with that really smart friend of hers and the father gives her that really tricky puzzle and he's like, oh, here, have a ball. That'd be you guys talking to me. Have a ball, boy. You go over there and bounce it. And I'd be dropping it and unable to catch it, looking like a complete and utter idiot.
But you know, they were talking about really fucking cool stuff, and you know, more progress is coming along. And honestly, I would love to have him on as a guest again, just for him to talk about like what is coming on and stuff like that. I think that would be really nice.
You mean Mario?
Mario and Rallian.
Maybe we get them together.
The fucking animation stuff? Yeah, where's the fucking animations? Come on. I've been fucking waiting, son. But you know, also in other stuff that's also just been released, the map link mod that Dumpgra and Damon Forge have been working on is an open beta as well. Yep. He was just telling us in DMs, and I've been testing that as well.
DayZ Down Under's looking at it.
Yes.
And I'm excited. That is a very big deal. I'm still angry at Dumpgra for just dropping it on us without any time to prepare and hype for it, because it literally caught me off guard with just how fucking big of a deal it is. It deserved its own episode and not being tacked onto the AI one. But it's going to reinvigorate community service. Being able to, you know, depending on how much time and effort the admins and the team behind those community servers put into the setup of the different maps, it's going to be fucking awesome, Marks. Reasons to go to that other server to find that unique loot that only spawns there, and just it's going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, at first when go ahead, like that.
No, go.
When I first heard about it, I was a little bit on the fence about it, but the more I kind of heard about it, the more I'm kind of grown towards it. And if it's in the beta stage, is there servers up on it, or is there
Marks? I get the feeling that if I don't even know who the supermodels are out in the world at the moment, but if the hottest chick in the world was to walk up to you and say, "I want to have sex with you," you'd be skeptical. You'd be like, "What's going on here, hey? What's going on? What's the real thing?" No, there's more to this. Come and see me in 3 months' time after I've had a moment to think about this.
Fuck's sake.
How does that make...
the way... Okay, I'm good.
He's not denying it, though. He's not denying it.
I mean, no, he isn't. Like,
he's fucking speechless.
I'm trying to comprehend what you just said. The reason I'm more skeptical about the DayZ mod stuff is we always hear a lot of talk about certain stuff, and then sometimes it'll either work or sometimes it'll come out and it's just pure shit. So I'm always skeptical that way, and I always want to see it in working before, you know, I make videos.
So basically, the hottest chick in the world has got to have sex with someone in front of you so you can work out if it's going to be working for you.
I don't know if that's how that works.
It fucking is in this world, mate. Oh, fucking hell. But
let me appraise your performance first. Yeah, you're not bad. A little bit more work required.
Oh, Christ.
Okay, I'm good. Fuck me, I'm good.
Fucking hell.
I'm good.
Wasn't expecting that.
But I've actually been using it on New Dawn and the Hideout because Hideout is working on it as well, and it is absolutely fucking sublime. In the way that Hideout's using it is that they've got the main Shannara server, but if you want to just purely PvP and you just want to go fucking mental, you go to their safe zone and you just use the terminal and you get transported to the other map, the I keep wanting to call it Swan Island. It's the one that John McClane has done.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one.
Island? Yeah, I played on that brilliant PvP map.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic map. I was actually
fantastic, and it's like, it's great.
I was saying I played that match on a deathmatch server, and I was saying I was going to contact Keegan and be like, "This is what the battle royale needs to be on. This type of map, it's perfect for it. Any other map is just too big, but this map is just spot on for PvP."
Look at that fucking sweet setup.
Fucking hell, Sonny Jim, you just made me get a half chub.
Oh, it even fucking changes backgrounds. That is very professional, buddy.
Hey, I made that.
Okay, so tell us what's going on with the mod.
Yes, show us.
Changes. So some of the cool things that we've done.
Can barely hear you.
Yeah, you've got to turn yourself up a little bit, bud.
Nothing.
Can't hear you now.
Sweet setup, but shit fucking tech. I don't know how there.
Nope, nothing.
How about now?
There, we can hear you.
All right. So some of the cool things that we've done with it is we have made it so when you try to travel to another server, it queues up the server and it shows you if the server's online. It shows you the player count. And we did that because we wanted people to be able to know if there's a queue before they join the server, because how annoying would it be to join a player queue to join a server when you traveled? We now have a full money system working. You can choose any kind of class item. You could literally have somebody walk up with an AK-47 as payment to transfer. Lots of other cool little minor things. We've been overhauled the way that we save the player variables, so it's now more versatile. Mods still need to add their own versions of it, but it's more of a default standard than it is you have to add this to every single mod you add.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Oh, we made it so you can now use any object you want as a transfer point. So you can make it so it's like helicopters, boats, even cars, that kind of stuff. As long as they're sitting in the position that you establish the departure point at. We have fully tested out multiple places. So like on New Dawn, for example, if you travel by boat, the boat takes you and it will teleport you to one of 20 locations. So when you show up on the shore randomly, or you could do a more specific thing where you allow players to go to teleport like within an area near each other, like within 50 meters of each other. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because I remember when you first put it to New Dawn, like there was a whole bunch of people, like a whole bunch of us. The way that we used it is that once we used the system, we got teleported to it was 18 points at that time, I think it was, or 15. I'm not too sure how many it was at that time. But it was all on the south side of the Malsk, which was obviously different considering you usually spawn at the north. And it was really, really fucking nifty. And it took some time for all of us to find each other again, because of those different points, and it's brilliant because it really does counter people trying to spawn camp and shit like that. So it's really, really good, and I'm glad that there's more stuff that's come to it. That makes more sense, especially with the helicopters and the boats and the cars and stuff like that. And one idea I think both of me and you, Dump, we were talking about. But there was some years ago, somebody made a South Segoria map, as a template, not as an actual physical map you could play on, but an actual map.
Yeah.
So what would be really, really fucking cool is that if a team got together to create the South Segoria map in sections, and then use this map link mod to get between the different territories. Fucking perfect combination, I think. Absolutely perfect.
One other feature that we also did put is we made it so you can send players to specific maps on death. So let's say you have 4 maps, and let's say it's like A through D, right? If you die on any of the map besides A, you will be sent back to map A as a respawn. That way, people don't necessarily respawn on the map they died on. They have to respawn on the map that you want them to start on, which can create a progression-based kind of ideology.
Yes.
So what's cool about that is that also means that the other thing we talked about, Lad, before, which was mini servers that only allow 5 to 10 people on. So like someone could make a sewer system that you could technically be teleported to that's under Shinaris, or maybe a underground military bunker. Think about like having Namalsk's A3 be a huge complex map, not just a small little thing put into a mountain on the map, but its own visual world.
Yes,
that's the kind of stuff you can do with MapLink, and that's it's really fun. It's a lot of exciting stuff.
You know what I just thought of there? You know the small little map Utes? I think that's how you pronounce it. Utes or Utes or however it is.
Yeah.
That was meant to be at one stage off the coast of Chernarus back in the early days of DayZ. I don't know if it's possible, but if it was a way where you could add that map back into Chernarus and use that, so say you go from Namalska, Livonia, you take off and you arrive at Utes, and players could maybe arrive there. I don't know, I'm just kind of brainstorming here. Maybe people could arrive there because it has that runway on it and everything. That you could run there, and that could be your destination point to and from, or something like that. It'd be kind of cool to add that onto it, and then they maybe there's a bridge connecting the 2 maps together, or something like that they could either walk or drive across or whatever. Something like that would be cool as well.
That would definitely work really, really well, actually, especially depending on the kind of server that you're going for, or heck, even like making UTS like a like the point where you can use the map link to get out of Chernarus, just the other way around.
The entire thing could be an entire safe zone as well, like, because it's not that big of a map from what I hear.
Not from what I remember.
Like I said,
not even that. Yeah, so it's it's fucking good.
The possibilities are kind of, dare I say it, endless with it. If you can imagine it, you can do it. You can even make a new player friendly zone map where the only thing that is in there are a bunch of rules and other things, and you have to walk up and interact with a button to teleport to the mainland. When you do that, you read the rules. I mean, you can even use silly things like you can have a fantasy land where everything is, you get teleported to that, what's that, Dark Medieval Ages mod, where everybody's like medieval and they have dragons. You can even have it teleport you to that kind of map.
Wow, that would be fucking great.
Would you? But yes, I got high and went to the dragon map.
But yes, it's really cool stuff like that, which really, really does bring the modding community together. But not only for the modders, but the actual the player base, because we need something like this in the long run. The technology, I believe you said, Dump, the technology has always been there, like just laying low. It's just trying to bring it back in a really unique way, which from what I understand, from what I've experienced, you've definitely done a really, really good fucking job on. But you said it was open beta, so what else is coming with it?
But let's be honest here, folks. I did some coding, but Damien Forge is the freaking mastermind behind all of this work. His universal API is what gave me the idea, as well as officials' ability to go from one map to another. Like you can log off from official A and log on to official B at the same exact position, is what originally gave me this idea that it was actually possible in DayZ to already do this. This was already pre-set up by the developers. They just never gave us access to the Hive. Actually, if developers gave us access to the Hive, this would be a lot easier. But right now, is
the Hive the thing? Because I don't know if this is it now, but when you go from one official server to another, like the public official servers, you can sometimes, most of the time, you can bring your gear with you, but it'll spawn you in a different random direction. Is that a hive?
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be when community servers first became available, way back in one of the early patches. It used to be common for community servers to have hives, and players who paid had access to a separate server where they could loot up or gear up, and that's what Pipsy used to do. There was a hive server that was connected, so your character just moved between them, but only whitelisted players could access the hive server or something like that. It was a common thing done back in the day, and then it sort of disappeared, and then Dumpgra and the team brought it back. The hive.
I think that I think I remember hearing they removed it. Was it something to do with people were duping, and it's something to do with loot cycling or something like that one?
Yeah.
Well, even you could argue that allowing only whitelisted players access to a server is giving them a benefit above other players. So it was probably breaking terms of service.
So the best way to describe a hive is think of a folder on a computer that has the player database, right? And then think of having 4 to 5 servers able to just read from and save to that player database. So it's like a tree branch effect, right? They all save and load from that database. That's pretty much what a hive is. And our API pretty much does the same exact thing, except for we just cut out the saving on a local machine. You save to a API cloud-based service.
Right.
Sweet.
Okay. Well,
it's a lot more better that way.
I think I'll have to hop on. I don't know if Dumpcram, maybe you're free sometime or whoever. I'd like to make a video on it. So.
Yeah, if you're probably going to make a video, I would suggest wait for the hideout to finish their map link. I'm not sure where the state is. Lai probably knows more than me on that. But they definitely have the player base and other stuff to make it actually a worthwhile.
I would like to see him do one on you, Dawn, mate, because you could also look at some of the other cool mods you've got there. Your metallurgy and stuff like that, and see them actually in action.
Definitely. I'm not saying no. I'm just trying to play to his audience.
Yeah, no, well, it doesn't. Well, when it comes to that mod, I just kind of want to, when highlighting mods, mainly just want to highlight that mod. Well, it doesn't matter usually what server it's on, just as long as it showcases that mod, the way it's meant to.
Because from what I've tested with both servers, both New Dawn and Hideout obviously very much caters to the PvP aspect, and it's really, really fucking good. But New Dawn obviously is the hardcore kind of survival server, and there's a really good sense of progression when you use their version of MapLink. You have to, you can't just go to the, you can't just go to the place and then just use it, and you have to actually find a ticket to use that system to then go to Namalsk, and you have to find a ticket to get back. But even if you die in Namalsk, that's it. You're back on Cherno, so you've still got to really you've got to prepare. You've got to prepare yourself on Chernaris to get to Namalsk, and it's a really good sense of progression that you that's on that.
And
server.
even for something like Dumpgra's metallurgy mod, you could make certain minerals only, as you know, iron ore doesn't just fucking isn't found everywhere. You could make iron ore exclusive to the mountains of Namalsk. So if you want to get iron ore, which is probably one of the biggest metals you'd need for metallurgy, you've got to head there. And if you want coal, you've got to go to, I don't know, fucking Deer Isle to mine coal to fucking fuel them and things like that. Just, it adds so much benefit, this hive system.
Deer Isle would be a good map for this as well, because there's so many different islands on Deer Isle that you could take over one of those islands and just completely have it just for that. So,
Hey, Damien, we're talking about that temple of his. It'd be kind of fun to make a little world
that would actually
just
be
for that temple.
Yes.
That would be kind of cool.
But the biggest thing I can stress about this to everyone that's watching and everything else, MapLink is open source. Have at it. Remember, just to give us credits, that's it. We don't require anything. It's full open source. Look at the code, figure it out. If you end up breaking it because of your own mod, well, we don't really offer support for that, but we will try to work our best with you, But it is full open source.
I would like to see some of you modders team together and start a Patreon as a group, because as individuals, yes, it's hard. It's down to one person, but as teams, you come up with a way, and I know that's open to issues down the line where if you have fallings out and all the rest of it. But if it's run professionally, a team, like you could have a fucking, you hear all these terms about stream houses. You could have a mod house, a house of modders. And working together and, just sharing, I'm certain there are people out there who can be trusted, sharing the income that comes out to help support you guys. Because I harp on this, and I know it probably drives people away, but there needs to be more love shown to modders, Marks. There really does. There's great systems in place through YouTube, Twitch, and all that for content creators, but there's not great systems in place for modders. And maybe if they team up together, have a website and a good Discord where people can join and give feedback, and you give lessons and stuff like that. A Patreon might be a fantastic way for you guys to get some coin coming in to help support what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was saying, I believe, like before we start the live stream, once I start my weapon tutorials, I'm going to be opening a Patreon just to do little bits and bobs here and there, because it's a good idea. Like, it's obviously we're not expecting like to be able to completely survive and pay off all our bills and God knows what with Patreon, but just it's a good way to get that little bit of extra love, an alternative to like hopefully some kind of system that'll make modders get like proper, I wouldn't say appreciation, but recognition, especially on the workshop.
Scalespeed is saying in the Twitch chat, modders have to become content creators. So maybe you could add someone to your team who, like a Dance of Jesus. The guy's got fucking editing skills, plus he knows a bit about modding, and he's a map genius to be able to, create some, like I got that work done for you for your metallurgy mod, the animation done, Dumpgra. That sort of stuff to bring your, what you guys do behind the scenes with coding is fucking next level. But, Mark, you've said this a few times. Their advertising of what they do is sometimes less than desirable.
Yeah.
Oops.
Nothing more needs to be said, does it? Nothing more needs to be said. That's the case. And as a team, with a bit of revenue coming in, that could help create more hype around what you do. I would love to see modders are the true superstars of DayZ, not the fucking content creators. The modders are. The modders are what's kept this game going. And I'd love to see you guys get more recognition for it. There's a couple of superstars out there, but for the average DayZ player, if I said, who's Dumpgra, who's Lad, who's Dance of Jesus, they're going to go, who the fuck are these people? If I say who's the Running Man, who's Smoke, who's Lax Hawthorne, even who's Marks, they all know who they are.
No one knows me. I'm irrelevant.
Oh, shut your fucking face.
Especially when you're knocked down having sex with the hottest chick in the world.
Whoa. Go, Mark.
See, it's like I've always said it's like what. And I've said this to Dom. It's like when it comes to like DayZ in terms of like, I wouldn't say popularity, but in terms of community, I've always envisioned it as like you got the bottom level, which is obviously the base game, the DayZ devs. Then you have the modders, and then you have the content creators. Because without the modders, content creators might not have the relevant content that they would have back in alpha, because obviously back at the end of alpha the game was pretty much fucking dying, like barely a couple of thousand players peak.
You got about 3,000 peak or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's like we've got the console, and I know you said, Marks, that's kind of like your primary, like that's where your community primarily lies.
Yeah.
But now we've got like obviously the community servers, the modded servers, and there's so many cool mods coming out, and there's a lot of content creators who make stuff. It's like Geckofish. He made and yourself, Max. You made videos on Extricate, and because of that server fucking boosh. We were not prepared. We were not prepared. But but at the same time, it goes hand in hand. Like you got to have that nice mix. You got to have that, because at the same time we're all in the same hobby. We're all trying to have fun with the same thing. So we've got to like work together. And it's like, the content creators show appreciation for modders by just posting Patreon, PayPal, whatever, or the direct mod link in the description. That's great. And if modders actually put in their own like PayPal stuff, and they give thanks to other modders in their description and get them as co-authors and contributors in their Steam pages, it all goes hand in hand. So we just need to really hold that back up together. That's what I think we definitely need to do.
I think one of the things to remember that's important is that most players who play on servers, they automatically subscribe to most mods. They download them, they play on them, right? They never even see the workshop page. So they never really know who's actually making these mods. But when they have a content creator, like let's say Marks, for example, they actually get to see his YouTube, they get to see his face, all that kind of stuff. And that's why content creators are more popular than
Can I
modders
ask,
as
because
far as,
I haven't been watching a lot of
like-
Twitch streams lately, Dumpgra. I don't know why, but I just haven't. But do any of you guys watch like The Running Man or Smoke and Lax Hawthorne? And how often do they bring up and talk about the mods in the game and the modders behind them?
Well, they don't talk about them very often, but they also aren't being very well pushed towards that thing, right? Like you don't go running around when you buy inside the store talking about how you're going to be donating to the Save the Children Fund, right? Like that's kind of the mentality, right? Donations are donations, and if modders, content creators aren't obliged to talk about the content creators they're using. It's nice, but it's not.
The point that you're on about there, buddy, is a bit of a tricky one as well, because if I've been playing on Rearm the past 2 days, and I pick up a modded weapon in that, I've no idea who made that modded weapon. I couldn't tell you for the life of me who made that modded weapon. There's different clothing packs there, and I've no idea who made those clothing packs at all.
Yeah.
Usually they don't say the names of them. There's different things, like the person who made the key mod for their service. I have no fucking clue who made that. I couldn't tell you.
But I kind of think that the onus is on content creators to have a bit more knowledge of what they're doing, because they're making their living from this game. They should have a higher standard of knowledge than the average player. The average player, I totally understand. They go to a server, they click download mods, and they go to it. But content creators, I feel, especially the big boys, should be knowing more about the game and what goes into the servers they play on and stuff like that. That's just me personally. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, as Dom said, content creations, they have no obligation to do that kind of stuff, and that's perfectly fine. And the content creators that do actively talk about the mods that are on a server, which it's fantastic. But there's one thing that Mass and we talked about, is that you'll notice with his MMIO mod, all of his items in the descriptions end with his name. So that way you know exactly who's made that. And he also credits people who's helped make him in those, like people who's imported the model or done the texture for him, stuff like that. But other modders don't do that. And in fact, I think he got criticized when he done it, but he hasn't backed down because he wants people to know who has made.
I've never had an issue. I can see why some people might, but I think that would be more a case of my immersion. The old my immersion. You're destroying my immersion. But I've got no issue with that. I think that's a very tasteful way to do it. Have it in the description of the item. Mass's many item overhaul. Dumpgra's metallurgy mod. Fucking Hell Retech Survival. Something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Heck,
now,
even I got criticised for copying Mass for doing that. So what the fuck?
You could do that perfectly fine, and I have no problem with that either. But there are some mods out there, and I've seen them on some servers, where they have, for whatever reason, you put a weapon in your hand, you check the description of it, and they will go to the wiki of this certain gun, the Wikipedia of this certain gun. They will copy and paste the entire Wikipedia and put it into that description. It is so long, all of it doesn't fit in the description that the box is there.
You've got to be creative.
All you need to have in that little box is 1, maybe 2 lines of information. That's it. Because if you have that big line of text there, I'm not going to read it, and I'm going to throw that gun on the ground because I really couldn't be asked reading it. Something that's small enough to read.
Be creative and sell the item, and just like Mass has, Mass's fucking whatever. Just something simple, basic.
That's just down to modders, though. You know, some people just don't have. I mean, they make these mods, and with all due respect with them, they have absolutely no creativity when actually coming to describe it. It's like when I do my weapons, I try and emulate not only in terms of title and description and in like actual config. I actually try and emulate vanilla weapons as much as possible in terms of looks, because I mean, fucking why not? You gotta have that style. And I don't like the fact that, some people they'll put these really long fucking descriptions, and I'm in the same boat as you, Max. I just see that shit and I'm like...
I picked up one gun before, right? And I picked up, I didn't know what the gun was. I didn't know what caliber it took. So usually I go and check the description of the gun.
Yes.
This description had 2 different wars the gun was in. It was telling me about where it was manufactured. Didn't have the ammo caliber in there at all.
How many fucking times do you pick up a gun and it doesn't say the ammo caliber, and it annoys the crap out of me?
Yeah.
I want to know how to use this gun. I don't want to know where it's fucking come from, what war it was in. I'm here to play a game, not read a fucking novel. All right? If I wanted to read a novel, I'd make a book mod.
You look at the vanilla guns. That's exactly how they are.
I mean, not as bad, but yeah.
I think the Powell just had the right arm of the free world written about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I mean, that's tasteful. That's nice. I love that.
Yeah.
But
the name of the gun, the caliber, and then who it's made by. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need.
That simple and plain. People read it, they go, "Oh, it's meant by that," and then they'll remember that name of the person who made it. And if it's good quality and it's just a little subtle little thing, like it's or name of the gun, caliber, then their name at the end of it. No big like, this is my mod. Look at my name. It's just same font size as everything else. Perfect.
It's kind of just like a little signature and like a piece of artwork, or when you just make like any kind of work, it's a little signature. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not in your face. It doesn't it doesn't get in your face. It doesn't get in the way. It's just there. It's just there, and it's just like, okay, cool, and you know who to talk to if there's something wrong with the mod.
Yep.
This like. On our server in XTK, like I've got many criticisms of the stuff that we use. It's good, but it could be better. I don't fucking know. At face value, I don't know who to talk to about that kind of stuff. I have to actually go through our mod list and try and find that particular item, and then be like, okay, I know what to talk to. I know who to talk to about what.
That's a good point there. Add the mod that that it's a part of the pack of, because when you are playing on one of these mods where there's maybe 4 or 5 different item mods attached, which item is that from? That's a very good point, mate.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, you could put the name of the gun, the caliber, the name of the mod, and then it's who it's made by. And that would work either, So you have all the information there, a little bit of text, job done.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that could easily work as well. And it's like, there's many servers out there that use duplicate, like they'll use so many weapon mods, and the weapon, like some weapon mods, they'll share the same weapon.
Sorry, just quickly, can you put both your hands like that? Oh, it's gone, that image. Dumpgra, you need to make it look like you were holding the 2 axes, or the axe and the pickaxe when that screen comes up, mate, and put on a Viking face for us. Do that again. And now you got to act like you're scared because there's a bear behind you.
But But when it comes down to it, it's like some, like I said, some weapon mods will use the same weapons across the board, and that makes the problem even worse, because it's like you want to talk to a mod creator about, say, for example, their own HK417. And your server might have like 3 or 4 different versions of the same gun.
From that gun.
And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, can you just no more Wikipedia articles, just the necessary information, please, so I can talk to you and get this shit sorted out, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What? Because I know a lot of these modders, I think probably most of them would be given out. Like a lot of modders would give out when they would say, "Oh, nobody's donating to my nobody's donating to my mod, nobody's donating to my PayPal, yada yada." Maybe what you need to do is go back into your mod, you'll go through your mod, make sure everything's clean, neat. Like if say you have a weapons mod, for example, you go into that weapons mod. If the textures on that gun look terrible, if the
Redo them.
descriptions are half an article, if you don't have your PayPal linked on or in your bio somewhere, and you're giving out about people not donating to your mod, I'm not going to donate to a mod that's like that if it's got shitty textures and default gun sounds and has articles of information and doesn't give
Exactly.
the
It's
easy
like
information. It's like I'm not even going to bother.
if it's a poor product, why like pay it much attention? Unironically, fix your mod.
Yeah, fix the mod.
That's what it comes down to. When it comes down to stuff like that, it's like yes, the functionality might be there, but at the end of the day, there's plenty of like gun mods and armor mods that have come out like a year or so ago, and whereas yes, they get regular updates, the quality doesn't increase. It stays the same as what DayZ was back then, and it's an absolute shame. Like I was having a look at a couple of mods, and because I wanted to get a little bit of inspiration of where to go, because I want to create my own like armor mod myself, for X2K and for the public. And I didn't realize how unoptimized this particular mod was, and it was ridiculous. And it was like, do you not like? I don't want to shit on other modders because that's not what I'm here to do. But it's like you got to have that. You got to have like that own. What's the word I'm looking for? Your own quality standards.
Yeah.
It's like Mark's like if you make a video, you've recorded it, you've edited it, you've rendered it, and then you watch it before you upload it, and you think, is this even a good video? And if it's not a good video, I can guarantee that you'll fucking scrap it. You'll just fucking scrap the video. You'll not do it, and you'll do another one.
Even though I still uploaded it, that's the exact thing I said when I made the horse video.
Exactly.
Even while making it, I went, "This is shit," but people are begging for horses, so I have to kind of upload it.
He's doing it. Exactly, and it's like you got to have that own quality standards. It's like, like there's been so many times where I've started a mod project and I've just stopped because I've either lost interest or I just think it's fucking shit. I just think it's terrible, and that's the kind of thing. It's like you've got to have that. You got to ensure that when you make a product, make a mod, a video, whatever, that's a part of your portfolio. That's what people will see and think of when they see your name. And
you
it's
make
like,
good quality items, the donations and the comments and the love and all that will follow. We just have to make that good quality stuff.
Exactly. It's like when you think of mass, you think of MMIO immediately. When you think of Boydie, like from my experience, you think of the podcast. When you think of Dumpgra, you think of Metallurgy and the Ammo Maker mod. When you think of Marks, you think of the obviously your YouTube channel. When you think of me, fuck knows.
I think of the light in the darkness.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I really need to fix that update. Jesus. But like it all comes down together. Sorry for rambling, but that's kind of like what.
No, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Like there's so many. You could browse through the weapons, just the weapons. Now I'm just kind of basing off weapons mods in this game. 80% of them might be bad quality. And there's probably 20% of them that like the models are lovely. They have custom sounds. Reload animations are really nice. Yeah. And they're the ones that are going to grab people's attention, and they're the ones people are going to want to donate to. They're the ones people like me are going to want to make videos on. But if you have these crappy mods and they're bad quality and the textures are low resolution and they have, you shoot a HK416 in game and it shoots the M4 sound, it's like, really?
Yes.
Whereas like it's really annoying, but yeah.
It's like when I done weapons, when I'm redoing weapons for mass, because I'm doing that now apparently, and I done weapons for like Masonized mod, the massive mod, and when I've done weapons for New Dawn, I always try and make sure that I do custom sounds, because if you're gonna make a gun, a unique gun that's not in the game, you gotta go the full you can't just like half-ass in some aspects. It's like I research the real life counterparts, I research the muzzle velocity, I research like its rate of fire, I research the materials, I research a lot of shit when I make the gun, like in terms of like the config, and it shows. Like You know, the AVS-36, for example, it's a World War II Russian automatic weapon, kind of preceding the SVT-40. It's full auto, shoots 7.62 by 5.4, 20-round box mag, and goes like that. It's fucking instant. It's OP as shit, and nobody uses it. And it pisses me the fuck off. Whereas you got a PKM.
It's because PKM is a 200-round mag, and it's kind of a more modern weapon. I think a lot of people, and it's the same with people, are kind of getting sick of seeing all these World War II weapons and that type of era weapons. The same with just games in general. People are just kind of bit annoyed of it, bit bored of it, because it's been just overdone so much, that way. So I think people are always looking for the more modern weapons, more that look really cool, and people just like that more, it seems.
Yeah, it's like, with the weapon mod that I want to end up doing, I want to have a perfect mix of modern, dated, and like civilian weapons, because when it comes down to it, DayZ, it's got a healthy amount of weapons all around the board, but civilian weapons, they're just not on the same level as military, and it's a shame. But with the mod that I have in mind, I want to kind of like somewhat level the playing field, where obviously the favorite is going to be military, but when you use certain civilian weapons, you're going to have a good fucking chance. You're going to have a really good chance, and there'll be some benefits over the military, but it all comes down to, obviously, the creator itself,
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
Mods, yeah, mod talk. Ooh.
Mods talk, yes! in fact, I want to quickly show you guys something, because I know there's a couple of people from XDK watching, because CAF decided to be like, hey, everyone, lads on! So, and this will be really interesting. So, we've been working on concept for a new map for XDK. And we decided to...
Sorry just to interrupt you, but I was meant to talk about this when we were talking about the Hive mod. Is that something you're thinking of doing for XDK, so you can switch between all the maps?
No, because the map itself, like all the different like mini maps, they're all part of the same map, so we don't need to do something like that.
Oh, okay, right, I get you.
But yeah, so this is the concept. This is obviously like really small when it comes down to it, but it's a comparison. These hallways, if I can find the player character, I've got it here somewhere. He's somewhere around here. So this is going to be completely underground, and you're going to be like in certain spots. You're going to be like, that's where you'll spawn in when you use the passport to get into the area. Ideally, everything's going to be pitch black, so you're going to have some kind of light source like night vision, flashlights, glow sticks, whatever. And it's going to have the best loot, but it's also going to have infected. It's going to have strong infected, and it's going to be very claustrophobic. And one of the ways that you can get out an extract is that you have to find the generator, you have to fix it up. Once it's fixed, you turn it on, then you find the key card, and then once you find the key card, you go into this section, you activate the elevator, and then you move all the way up here, and this is where you extract, above the ground.
Yeah,
so that's what ends this section here. So you'll see that there's a couple of shafts going up. So these will be like little elevator shafts, but the elevators will be broken, so you have to be like risky, and you have to take a ladder. But this will be like an underground train, like a little underground railway going here. And this will probably be one of the areas where you can start in, and you have to progress. You have to progress through the complex. So instead of from what Flatlands is from west to east, or Picea Mountain Resort from south to north, you literally have to go from down to up to progress. And since it's going to be claustrophobic and it's going to be infected, it's going to be very difficult, at least in my idea. Right now, like I said, it's in the concept phase. So there'll be more additions or stuff taken out of this kind of like layout. But that's what we kind of got going for. This won't be done until way, way later on in XDK development. But it's something for players to look forward to. I just wanted to kind of
pretty
show
cool.
that off
Very cool.
because why the
Fun
fuck
idea.
not?
Yeah.
Yes,
you
we
make
just
the-
need to get. we
It
just want
does.
to try and
Like
get
Steve's saying in
permission.
chat, you're a madman, lad. That looks insane.
Yes, I am. I'm fucking crazy. We just want.
Would you knock back the hottest chick in the world, like Mark's?
Fuck that! I can't be hers. Do you think I have time for that? No. But the one thing that we want to try and do is we want to try and get permission from Sumrek to use the coding that he uses for Namalsk for the underground sections. That's the key component to the whole thing. Once we have that, then we can start development. We don't want to go in and just.
I don't see an
steal
issue
the
with that.
code.
If he can use it for a non-official server, then it should be allowed for others to use.
Exactly. It's like we just want that permission because we don't want to steal the code. We don't want we don't want to just take it because that's just not. Who's that going to benefit? Nobody. We'll eventually get us to take it down, and then the whole map will have to be fucking scrapped or whatever. But if we can't get permission, then we're obviously going to have to try and make our own. And we've got some really talented scripters on the team as well. And so we'll see how it goes from there. But like I said, we don't want to steal anything from anyone because that's just going to ruin the reputation of ourselves.
Yep.
And fuck that noise. There's no point. So, but we're just waiting to hear back from him, see what goes on. Kath has been doing some amazing stuff with the terrain. He's been, I don't want to say too much on it because it's going to be fucking very nice. I've been loving the updates. And he's also been teaching me Terrain Builder. So I've been doing little things here and there. So hopefully, like, map development get up a little bit more. I would like to say we're coming close to our beta phase, but we'll just have to see. I know, Max, you'll probably be a little bit more excited about that because the servers will be up 24/7 from that point on.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's going to be really, really fucking cool. But don't mean to derail the podcast to talk
No,
about
no.
XDK, but
Mate, it's what we're here for. If you guys are doing this, pretty much out of the graciousness of your heart and your love of the community, the least you can do is shill some of the stuff that you're working on and passionate about. I have no,
Yes.
and if anyone does have a problem, go fuck yourself. A lot of time and effort goes into this show. The least you can do is, Mark's with his highlight videos and you with promoting something that you're passionate about. That's the least we can fucking do to help you guys.
Exactly. In fact, it's like there's one thing that we're developing in terms of medical that I'm going to be giving out to New Dawn as well. So if you don't want to play on XDK and that kind of style, you can play in New Dawn and you can have that unique item as well. And I've shown you it as well. It's fucking nice. It's really, really cool. And it'll add functionality theoretically for toxic mods. So that'll be a really, really nice addition.
Now, Dubgrey, you wanted to say something?
I did.
Oh, it just looked like you were about to say something. No? Okay. We've got a bit of housekeeping to do before we wind the show up, folks. On a personal note, I just need to let you guys know that you can thank Marks and Lad in particular and a few other people who were kind enough to reach out to me because over the last couple of weeks I've been waning a bit in my enthusiasm, wasn't I, Marks, to put it bluntly. I was starting to get a bit drained by, I'm usually up at 4 a.m. every morning on a Sunday and doing the podcast and it was starting to get a bit of a drain doing it. The enthusiasm was lacking. But Mark's in particular come up with some good ideas and suggestions for me, and people finally convinced me. Sorry, Brim and Foxy, for not listening to you guys back when we first started the show. But to start a separate channel to differentiate the Boydie 73 stuff from the podcast stuff. So going on in forward, it looks like no one said that there's been any issues with connections wise. It looks like this format has worked. We'll be multi-streaming on Facebook, on YouTube and on Twitch all at the same time. Streamlabs Prime has a really good system where all of the chat comes up in one stream for me. So going forward, We may be looking at the frequency of them. Mark's has suggested we might be doing a Thursday episode or a Wednesday episode, depending on what day it is where you come out for the 1.13 release. I think that's a good idea, just to talk solely about 1.13, nothing else, no other topics.
It would be, those episodes would be only when updates come out, and they would be an hour long, maybe. You know, just something quick and short that just kind of, we're hoping to maybe get someone like Scotty on again, you know, so he can answer some chat questions. Or just
it'd be great if we could get Sumrak or one of the other devs on.
Anyone at all would be great from the team, but that's what we're thinking of. So maybe on Tuesday there might be an episode, but we're not 100% sure yet. But we should leave you know.
Sorry, Dom?
Yeah.
So you probably can get me on easily.
Hopefully, we're going to reach out and see.
It would probably be better to do it the day after the update hits, because by that time there's a lot of mods that are in the process of getting fixed for 1.13. So obviously we'll see what happens there.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that might be more of the normal scheduled episode to talk about how the rollout went. I think what Marks is aiming more for is just one that's focused totally on that patch, what's in that patch. Okay. Like, even in my mind, I'm thinking of maybe a time to do it is when the servers are down, to have the patch uploaded. I don't know. Yeah, we're still talking about it, but more talking about how it impacts on mods, because that's a PC specific thing. I think just talking about the actual patch, because a lot of console viewers are starting to watch the show now as well, is probably more just focusing on the patch itself.
Yes, of course. That's fair. I get that reason.
So I think latest will probably be Monday evening before we'll get anything, but we'll even know on Twitter and so on if there is going to be a show the following day. But yeah, you'll know.
Now, for those of you watching, I don't know if this is coming across on YouTube as well, but I know it works on Twitch. But one of the things, I want to try and make it a bit more fun here as well. And something, I put out a tweet earlier this week as well, asking people for classic DayZ related sound bites. And this is one of them that I've added already. No, it's not going to work. If someone else could try typing that in chat, it's a bit buggy, but I did add 1,000 points to everyone. If you just type in redeem weeks. But
not months, we're talking weeks.
There we go. There, it just worked. Did you guys actually hear that? Not months, we're talking weeks. Eugen saying that.
Yes.
But you guys did hear that as well?
Yeah, I heard it.
Good. Save your points now, guys. Save your points. Yeah, that will be, so at certain moments, whether it be, classic shit talk, like I'm thinking of adding Fubar Bundy when he came in that episode, and you talking trash or you talking shit, just little classic podcast related and DayZ related sound bites that people can use their points on to have a bit of a laugh and that, because as much as we do get serious here from time to time, as evidenced by our conversation today on Marks and Supermodels, we do like to have a laugh as well. You know, I'm never going to let that go now either. Yeah, the worst part is you didn't even do anything. You didn't even do anything. You were just the butt of the joke, unfortunately, in this case, mate. So, yeah.
Mark's the womanizer.
But yeah, and we did put a tweet out as well. Guys, we want your feedback. I think part of the problem I've had with the podcast is, primarily this has been my creation with the input of some other amazing people, Jacob Mango, Daone, Foxy, Brimstone, Wee Devil, and so on, the rest of the crew, Archie and Val. But we need your feedback, folks. We need you guys to let us know what we should be doing, what we should be adding, what we shouldn't be doing. I know we tend to waffle a bit. I think we waffled a bit this episode, but we just can't help ourselves, can we, Marks? We love DayZ. We love talking about it.
Yeah, it's always good to have a chat about it.
So
you just cut out like 2 minutes.
No, that's fine. So just give us any feedback in the Discord, on Twitter, wherever. But yeah, folks, that is it for this week. next week we have Lieutenant Scourge and Click Daddy Oz coming on. So I'm quite excited for that one. Lieutenant Scourge in particular, and Click Daddy, he's another Australian. But yeah, what happened to Archie? I've heard rumours that Archie might be coming back soon. I really hope so, because his guide videos were some of the best made for DayZ. Funny, informative, no bullshit. He got right to the point. They were just fucking awesome. I miss that guy, and he's a fucking master base raider too, isn't he? But yeah, Marks, thank you so much. Pleasure as always, my man.
Yeah, exactly.
Dumpgraph, thank you for jumping in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nah, you're welcome, mate. And Lad, we've lost your camera and I think audio, mate. But thank you so much for coming in as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done for episode 68. Thank you all so much. I think the new format worked quite well. I had roughly the same average viewers. So, yeah, I think it's been a win. Whether we stick with Facebook or not, don't know. It does put a bit of pressure on my poor old PC and Australian internet, multi-streaming to 3 services, but it seems to have worked. And Dumpgraph, I've got to talk to you about how you set up that sweet little rotating overlay behind, mate. I think that would look a lot better than my dirty aircon and a vacuum in the background and a basket full of cables. But yeah. All the best, everyone, and we will see you next week. Maybe earlier in the week. Marks and I will continue talking about that for a special 1.13 update episode if we can do that. Oh, he's back. Yes. Lad.
Hello, sorry, my audio software is fucking annoying. Sorry.
It's all good.
That's audio software.
Yeah. No, we're just winding up, mate. All the best. Thank you for coming on as always, and yeah. I like cables too, Johnny Bravo. I can't throw fucking cables away. I hate throwing away cables because you're just always in the back. I've got cables from fucking the old iPads, those big fucking clicky things, and I just keep them in case you ever have a cable break. I can't throw them out. But yeah, all the best, everyone, and I'll see you next week. Ciao for now, guys.
Take care.